welcome to this morning's lecture online. I want to believe that you would have done your assignments. I've received a copy of the scripts, and I must commend those of you that have done a good job, but some of you just did it. I should have talked to you. Did not take time to do the proper research. So I still expect you to do that, because beyond this course is the need for you to be grounded in a course that you have chosen. Okay. My name is Daphne Uduneje. I want to believe that most people that would have attended the previous classes, but if you haven't, maybe you're just joining us, try and get previous lectures from your course mates. And if you feel there's any way I can assist you, please don't fail to send me a mail, or you could put a call across. We can talk about it. Now, this morning we're going to continue. I want to wrap up the topic of radio and salvation presentation. I think the last time, picking it from where we stopped, I think we talked about the different kinds of presentation. We did the that of radio. We also started talking of TV, and I guess that was where we stopped. Qualities of a good presenter. So let me pick it up from here. Paint pictures with words. Now, radio is unique. It's the only medium where you paint pictures with words. Okay, I think we've done all of this. Social media survey. You have to be very, very savvy with the social media. You have to, what we meant by that, I think I tried to explain this last week. You don't pick quarrels, okay, with the audience. So sometimes, especially in your Twitter handles, people will want to get back to you, either insult you, so want to criticize you, some want to even threaten you, okay? So you could be criticized, you could be insulted, you could be threatened. But whichever way, as a professional, you must be calm and behave yourself. Sometimes people do all of that just to rattle you, just to know to know if you are a professional. So that's some of the things that make them yes, this person is trained. Then, of course, we talked about making your listeners feel special by addressing them with the first element. Check your shows, yes. After you would have presented, you check your shows to ensure that, of course, the only constant thing in life is change, okay, and improvement. So no matter how good you are, you should always think of improving, all right, improving on what you've already done. And never be boring. You don't allow yourself to become a bore, as a presenter. You must, especially a radio presenter. And so that again tells you how important it is to study, all right? We can't run away from the fact that you have to read. You have to read magazines, listen to documentaries, read politics, read on meds, everything, read everything, because that will create a rich vocabulary for you, and to also add to your experience, right? Because most times when you're presenting shows, you don't just rely on what you're talking about. You have to bring in your experience of the world will be brought to the fore. All right, the experience of the world will be brought to the fore. I think you did that also in your use of English, what we talked about when you're writing, okay? Your experience will show in your script. So if you have little experience, you won't have much to write about. And the only way you can do that is by reading, because when you read, you are allowed into other people's worlds. All right, every writer has a word, paints a picture of a world. So when you pick up a book and you read that book, you are entering into that person's world, and he's sharing his experience with you, and that adds to your own experience. Okay, so that's why we keep encouraging you, we keep saying it, you have to read and you have to read. So don't get tired. This stage of the net, I think what should interest you most as a mass communicator is, you have to read, how should I put it now, the arts, read medicine, architecture, everything, because it will show you sometimes when the script is when you don't have much in the script, you can bring in those things. You can just start up with a conversation, and you see that your listeners will be okay. They'll be excited. They will be, So the best radio presenters can make even the most boring topics interesting through just their enthusiasm and ability to offer a new perspective. Okay, so you wear your passion on your sleeve and have fun with what you're doing, and your audience should have fun too. So that's the essence of broadcasting. Broadcasting is seen as a glamorous job. Now you keep listeners engaged. Becoming a great radio presenter doesn't happen overnight. We said that previously, so you must improve your shows and all of that. So what are the skills TV you need to be a good TV presenter? I think this was broadcaster. This was where we wrapped it up last week. Now, TV broadcasters present entertainment, current affairs, news, music, weather, and sports program on television. They may present programs live or record them for later transmission. Broadcasters may also research and write their own material. In smaller stations, they may be responsible for editing their own program content. Broadcasters therefore require a wide range of presentation and program production skills. Now, let me try to explain this. In the world that we have today, the world of the digital world, with the internet there, you have people, sometimes you have a person doing like 6-man job. So people are multitask, not just in journalism, but apparent almost everywhere in the world now. So you see in most offices, most employees of labor, they multitask people. I'll give you a very brief example. Like in journalism, those the early days when we were like small girls in the newsroom, we used to have photo journal, photo section. In the photo section, you could have up to 20 photographers in a newspaper. We have what they call typists, so they are in the typing pool. All right. We had so many of them have cameramen for those that are into broadcasting. All right. We have reporters who go on the field. They will have text editors. We have title editors. We see all of that has changed now. You can see an editor also doubling as a reporter. Sometimes I'm also into media PR. Sometimes you invite people, to cover an event. You see there's editors, come in as reporters to cover the event. So what that tells us is that they're going to do the writing, they're going to do the photography in some newspapers, they're going to do the editing. Yes. So you see that most of the jobs now have been compressed. So that is what this means. So both in broadcasting and even in print. So one person could do so many other jobs. So like in most newspaper houses now, we don't have so much of photographers. All right, we just have a few of them, maybe 2, 3. Okay, with of course that of typeist, that's off. Technology has overtaken that, and so all that tells you that you have to. When we were like growing up in the newsroom, when you write a script, you give to a typist, right? Then you send to the soft desk. But now you do your typing. Okay, so your management may expect you to do all of that. So I just try to explain that to you. So you have to learn multiple skills to be, you know, you have to be an all-rounder to be uh, to make yourself very, very relevant in today's journalism. Now, presentation of skills. Excellent presentation skills are essential for a TV broadcaster. You must have a clear voice and the ability to present your material calmly and professionally. Okay. Particularly under the pressure of a live broadcast, you must be able to present your material in a natural. Yes, for broadcasting, there's something that is called an auto cue. If you're very, very observant, you would have noticed that newscasters, when they are casting the news or presenters, it will seem as if they're looking straight to the Can I continue? All right, sorry about that break. So we talked about interview skills. As part of your role, you must interview people. Okay. The one I was talking about. So you must know key personalities in the industry you cover. Of course, your first attempt as a new person in the newsroom or coming in to practice journalism, you'll be posted to so many bits. Okay, you will be asked to experience all the bits that there are. So then, before you now, specialize on a particular bit. So while you're going through all of that training, you expected to get your contacts. Okay, your contacts are very, very vital. They are your source. Your contacts are the sources you'll be using to build your story and to make maybe your talk show, whatever you're doing, to make it authentic. You may need to, for instance, if you're presenting a program on Star, okay, you will need to get the contact of some of those major stylists major designers, okay? Because at some point you may need an explanation, so you can just put a call across. But if you don't have those contacts, it makes your writing very, very, empty. It wouldn't look professional enough. Then interview skills, as part of your role, you may interview people on location or in the studio. Now, a broadcast journalist must interview eyewitnesses or experts while covering a news story. A talk show host interview a talk show host interviews a wide range of guests from members of the public to celebrities. You must have the interpersonal skills. All right, let's continue. The network is really challenging. So, like I said, you have to put the interviewee at ease. Also, what that means is that you must have a friendly. How should I put it? You must be very, very friendly, and you should know how to ease yourself into your interview so that they can feel relaxed. So what that means is that you should know how to assess people, all right, and know how to come down or come up to the level. Um, and most times, what helps you to do this is when you're when you're well exposed, when you mix up with people up there, below, and anywhere you try as much as you can to relate with people broadly. So that will always make you feel comfortable with people. You can move with any level of people and you always align, all right, because you've taken time to do or to relate with people at different levels. So as a journalist, that's one of your key skills. You should know how to interview the president of a country. You should know how to interview the tomato woman at the market there. You should know how to go to the slums and relay with people there. Okay. You should know how to go to a bank and interview a bank manager, and you should know also how to go to the garage and talk to the garage staff. So these are the skills that you should acquire, because most times your job will require you to interview people at different levels. If you watch the TV, you see some of the journalists that anchor some special programs on TV. Sometimes you see them on the road. Okay, like Dimba, if I get it right, of TVC. Sometimes you see that he's the one interviewing people on COVID-19. But sometimes you also see he's anchoring a special program with personalities, with governors, with ministers, with captains of industries. So that's what journalism is all about. And what that tells you that you should be outgoing, all right? You should be an outgoing person as a journalist. So if you discover that at your level now you're so withdrawn, you have to make conscious effort to socialize because you need it a lot. Flexibility is an important attribute for a TV broadcaster. You must be able to react quickly and calmly to change. All right. News broadcasters, for example, may have to interrupt their prepared bulletin if important news breaks. Okay. So this talks about you being flexible. There's no rigidity in this profession. You have to be flexible. You could be, casting on news, or you've something you are prepared to do, and there's a breaking news. Don't forget, we'll say news is news when it's fresh. So you may be forced and asked to do what? To switch over to something new. So you must have the ability to change, not complaining like I didn't prepare for this. This was not what I prepared for. No, you should always be ready. Okay. So you can receive information from the production team and must quickly prepare your presentation so that wow, goodness. Oh, so we're having a lot of technical kits here as well. So let's quickly talk about the technical skills. You must have an understanding of television production so that you're familiar with the work of program directors, sound engineers, camera operators, the control room. So what this is that you take time to also study. Aside from being a presenter, you should have a clue of what is happening in the production, line. So you take time. If you're working in a TV station or in a radio station, you must study these other aspects of production. Camera operators, control room, the sound engineers, program directors, and all that has to do with the technicalities of production. You should have an idea of them all. Differences between TV and radio. Now, yes, sometimes students want to work. I will ask, what is the difference in TV broadcasting and radio broadcasting? Some people want to wonder, should I go into radio or should I go into TV? What is actually the difference? So let's look at it briefly here. Now, the differences here lies sometimes in the job they do, okay? But most times most of the technical the presentation aspect tends to be almost the same, but of course not entirely the same. But when you talk about the skills required, they are almost the same skills with just a slight difference. Okay. Now, television allows you to back up the story you want to tell with visual cues that can elicit the desired response from your audience. When strong copy and smooth dialogue fail to interest viewers, visual imagery and special effects can keep them watching. Right now, television offers vast reach in the digital era, and good stories coupled with great dialogue and appealing imagery are formula for spinning gold time and time again. All right. So what this means is that yes, pictorials, images, people want to reckon with that. All right. pictures. Okay, is you know how to use words to paint pictures, because radio depends more on creating imaginary theaters. Okay, so this is more of a challenge and requires endless creativity and the ability to engage readers with little more than words and sounds. It is the perfect stage for creative people and wordsmiths. So you must be highly creative to work in the radio. Fragmentation. The biggest difference between TV and radio is fragmentation. Fragmentation is something you will need to address if you're planning to use your radio and television broadcasting skills to design and promote advertising. Okay, radio audiences often flip stations when commercials are on. And television viewers are often TVOing their program so that they can skip through commercial breaks. So it's a challenge that is facing both mediums, right? Both mediums have this challenge. When some people don't like, when those commercials are running, some people feel they want to get back to the program. So it's always there. These are obvious challenges that both TV and the radio have. However, radio has a bit of an advantage because radio listeners often listen in their cars or at work. This makes them a captive audience. So what we mean that is that the radio listener may not be asked to wanting to change stations, because possibly he's listening, he's driving and he's listening, or he's sleeping, he's listening, and all of that. So most times they are forced to listen. Now, so from savvy marketing professionals who understand the differences between radio and television advertising can use their mastery of marketing to achieve positive results with the stations and sports. So this is an aspect that a professional can key into and make the most of it. Now, so I think that will be that for TV and radio. I want to believe that you've been able to see the differences, and of course you put on the side, you know, where to work, or whichever you decide. Don't forget that you have the skills are still there. You still need all that we have talked about to be either a good radio broadcaster or a TV broadcaster. Now let's come to presentations program. Like I said last week, we're going to look at the different types of presentations that there are in the broadcast industry. So basically, we're going to look at look at 6 different types of presentation. Now, presentation come in a lot of different forms and have a variety of purposes. In the business world, there are 6 main types of presentations. Get to know them, and once you identify your purpose, choose the right type before you begin to prepare and practice your presentation. You can always modify your presentation to meet with your specific purpose. Now, everyone from those who present in front of large audiences on the stage to managers who need to pitch their ideas to co-workers can improve their delivery and impact of their message. Now, presentation, like we said earlier, and like we tried to defend, has to do with talking to a live audience. It ranges from a news conference where you could have the managing director of the company presenting, to the journalists. It could be you now being the presenter of a program, maybe you're hosting a program. So it comes in a variety of ways. But whichever it is, this type, whatever you do will fall into these 6 major categories. 1, types of presentation, we have providing information. This format encompasses anything from a team meeting that gives updates on a project or upcoming event to a demonstration that shows product functions. Now, sometimes for journalists on the field, sometimes you go to a company, maybe that when there's a new product in the market, they'll tell you, marketing manager will do the presentation. And of course, what the marketing manager will be doing is that he comes up and begins to give you information. Okay, he provides information on the products. It could be a product launch. Maybe there's a new Indomie pack in the market. Milo is possibly adding more vitamins to the product, or it could be a car. Maybe Mercedes-Benz is launching a new product, maybe 2020, this 2020, maybe 2021, Mercedes-Benz, maybe E-Class is already in international markets, and the people that distribute it here wants to present it to customers. So what the presenter will be doing at that moment is providing information on the products. Now we have teaching a skill. Now your company just installed a new system or implemented a new process that requires people to learn how to do the new tool and apply the process. This happens everywhere. It could be in a news organization. It could just be anywhere, any department. So a company, like in these days of COVID, okay, that most things are going online and webinar, just like you are experiencing it now. Normally, you are used to the classroom lectures, but here we are, online. So when things like this come up, the management could decide to introduce it, to teach the skill to those who be using it. All right. So it comes in different forms. It could also be like, let's bring it down to the domestic world. Somebody may decide to teach you how to do okay, how to bake okay, how to make Ghana weaving, okay, how to prepare local pap in your home. So these are presentations. So what the person is going to be doing is to one by one gradually introduce you, show you how to do it. The reporting progress as you integrate the new system into your daily routine. Your boss wants to know how it's working. You might schedule a divisional meeting or group offsite to share the progress. So here again, we could also give a report of an assignment that you're giving, mostly maybe those that on the field work, they have to be given the task and your boss wants to get a feedback. Now, selling a product or service, a briefing like this might include a recap of the product or service, next steps and actions items, or discussion of needs and improvement before the product is ready to sell. Then, of course, making a decision. This time for the annual holiday party, and ideas are tossed around the office. When giving your input on the location, make sure to share the must-haves and nice-to-haves for the event. When it is time for the final decision, you can see how your